If you feel guilty for how messy you are not alone. I am going to share my struggles with decluttering, even still when I teach about how to declutter. So I'm going to share this love-hate relationship and how to deal with that tension. This is part of the Clutter Free by Christmas series, where I share the baby steps of how I went from being a pack rat to clutter free. So I got the idea for this video from an amazing book that I read called I Hate Running. And so I went and bought this shirt after it because it was so inspiring and helpful. And running is kind of like decluttering in that it is something that can be beneficial. So many people love it and do it so much. And some people take it a lot further than other people. And it's the same with decluttering. Some people love it, some people hate it, and some people kind of both. And it also can depend on the time. So if the circumstances are perfect, I kind of like running. It is nice, but I am not trying to be out in 90-degree weather running in the sun or in the freezing cold in the snow. But some people, they will just run no matter what. And it's the same with decluttering. Some people just want the perfect circumstances. The timing has to be right. They have to have someone helping them. They'll only do it a few times in their life or a few times a year. And some people do it weekly, almost daily. Why do people run even though they hate it and it makes them miserable and they get injuries from it? So that's kind of what the book talks about. It also talked about, I think that's the one, I might have read a couple of running books in a similar time, but one of them talked about like it's okay to walk part of a marathon or part of a half marathon or 5K. And that made me feel a lot better because I was like, I don't want to get injured. I want to take it at my own pace. And so that's what I'm here to tell you today, is that if you want to walk in decluttering and go slowly, that is fine. If you want to sprint, that is okay too. And the journey is going to be different for different people. Also, case in point, I am wearing this like flowery orange color. I feel like you don't usually see that in a minimalist wardrobe, but I love having a colorful wardrobe. And there are certain things that are like too wild for me, I guess I should say. But I do love having a variety of colors and patterns in my wardrobe. And some people just want to wear black, which, you know, I do love black as well. Okay, another thing that got me thinking about this topic and wanting to talk about it is the Big Book of Less, Finding Joy in Living Lighter. And this is just such a fun book if you can't tell just by looking at the cover, but it has little inserts that as you go through, you peel off the sticky part and then you have a little book to take with you and read. And I actually really love this. This was at my thrift store, so it was so cheap. It's crazy, but it is very high value. So I will have to link that for you, but it has 2 or 3 little pages in this pullout. This is Decluttering with Astrid, which is one of the authors. And she talks about a piece in the New York Times called Let's Celebrate the Art of Clutter. Dominique Browning, the author of the piece, kind of denounces the industry. Okay, basically it talks about the author of that article saying that she loves her collections and has tons of books and all this kind of thing. And when you think of it that way, it's like, well, yeah, me too. I mean, I don't have tons of books, but throughout the year, tons of books are passing through my home and I'm reading tons of books. And I love my collections too. I have like, this is another thing I should go count, but I have more than 10 fountain pens. Let's just say that. And I'm gonna have to video the collection of fountain pen inks. Should we do that now? Should we do that later? It's not gonna be good lighting. You're gonna be like, no way is this girl a minimalist. Okay, like not even close. But I will say my husband actually had these mostly before we got married. The ones with the colorful lids we got after we got married. I mean, this is hilarious. Okay, so that's not even all of our fountain pen ink. We have more, but let me just count these. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 22, 24, 26, 28, 29. So over 30 bottles of ink, and the bottles can refill pens numerous times. But I will say I do use each of the different colors and it is fun. So I do have a collection and I collect other things, but I'm also much more willing to let go of certain things that I don't enjoy, or I don't collect everything. I have gotten rid of some collections instead of keeping all of them. And so thinking about this does reinforce for me that because I'm not keeping everything, I'm able to use those more and I'll notice other things more because they're not crowded by different things that I don't care about. So yes, keep your collections that you love. But I will say it also did start to be more difficult because I did get rid of things that don't spark joy, but then I also started realizing what sparks the most joy, and I would purchase those things and collect those things and gather those things. And so then I'm like, okay, well now I do have like tons of stuff that spark joy. So I had to be careful about that and realize that extra space in my home also sparks joy, and getting things that can be used up and waiting until more things are used up before I go and purchase other things that are my new favorite. So I don't know if that's making sense. So I'm going to move on from that. One other thing she says is that she loves using the phrase says who. The person was kind of against this culture and movement of decluttering, but it seemed like it was just because it was telling her not to keep her collection. And you know, if you went into her home, it might be decluttered compared to what some people are used to. And so if she can still function and enjoy those collections, she may be already decluttered and the type of person who is organized and can handle more stuff in her life. And so that doesn't go against what we talk about when we're talking about decluttering and being minimalist. So to use that phrase with her, it's like, who says we have to get rid of all of our collections in order to be clutter free? But also, like, if you don't want to be clutter free, that's fine. And so that's kind of what I want to talk about, because I even put a chapter at the end of my book where you still have value if you have clutter. If you don't ever declutter, if you don't ever get rid of your stuff, you still can have a purpose and a meaningful life and a joyful life. I was still happy and content before I started decluttering, but now that I have done the decluttering, I am still happy and content. There are still times where I can be bored because I haven't filled my schedule too much. So another section in this little booklet is about the art of being messy. This one talks about someone who thinks the trend of decluttering is like joyless and unsocial people. Jennifer McCartney wrote a book, The Joy of Leaving Your, I'm going to say crap all over the place, but so the subtitle for that is The Art of Being Messy. And so she quotes the line that says, "You're born messy and you die messy, but someplace in between you get bullied into believing that you should be neat and organized." And it's like, it hurts my heart reading that, because I'm like, oh my goodness, am I doing that to other people?
I do want to point out that you might be messy when you're born, but you do not have a ton of stuff. You are not bringing a bunch of stuff into this world. Other people are buying stuff for you and providing stuff for you. When you arrive, you are empty-handed. So yes, you can still make a mess, but you aren't taking up a ton of space with your stuff. It's the stuff other people are giving you and buying you and bringing into your life that is filling the space.
Sometimes you do feel that, like, oh, I can't be messy because of other people. But I also think it's a nice way to respect other people. And I clean up a lot more because I know my husband's coming home and I want him to be able to function and enjoy living in our space together. And he does the same for me. And he also, is a pretty organized and tidy person, but he has his things that he likes and his things that he leaves around, just like I have mine. But to me, the point is that if your clutter is getting in your way, if it is causing you to lose things and waste a lot of your precious time, then that's a good time to declutter. And that's when it's worth decluttering. And it isn't just someone else bullying you into it. You are wanting to do it because you want that change and you want that freedom that comes with being able to find your stuff and the joy of having room to twirl around. Woo. Well, someone hasn't put up the suitcase yet. Oh yeah, I should show you the floor. This is funny. Yeah, see, clothes from my husband, some random mail. It's fine. Okay, so the other thing is that if you try decluttering and you don't like it, believe me, it is super easy to go back to being messy. And well, in a way it's difficult because, see, this is the tension in it. It's difficult because you do see the benefits and you like it and you start to notice clutter more when you have less of it. But what I'm saying is, if you don't want to declutter anymore, then you can stop and it will go back to how it was if you want it to be messy. I guess I kind of like the phrase organized chaos because I still have plenty of stuff that can get really chaotic, but I, for the most part, still know where things are and can get it back to being decluttered fairly quickly and easily. And that's the benefit, and that's why so many people do it and so many people talk about how amazing it is to do it. It also gives you the freedom that if you want to live in a smaller house or if you want to travel, then you aren't spending tons of money on a house to hold all of your stuff. So it isn't holding you back from that. But if you want a house with lots of stuff in it, the one phrase that I've really gotten overhearing is how people talk about choosing experiences over things. And I think this is because of my husband, because he does not like that. But it's because he loves to buy tools. And I'm like, that's an experience though, because you are using those tools to create something and to use up your time. You're not just buying something that you're going to sit on a shelf and look at, which I like that too, but less so. His furniture that he's built now that it's already built, yes, we are just having it sit there and we're looking at it, and it just functions to hold some of our stuff. But the same with my art. Like, I love art supplies. I don't have to have a ton of them though in order to be able to create artwork. So I don't see anything wrong with purchasing art supplies, but I still see it as an experience because I'm going to spend so much time on creating these different pieces of art and looking at them and giving them away and writing notes on them to create an experience for someone else, of thanking them and showing gratitude. And so I guess I just want people to look at experiences differently. Like, it is an experience to get an amazing package of gifts from a friend, and it can be a beautiful experience to walk into your home with fresh flowers. So just realizing that experiences can come from things that you buy. An experience doesn't just have to be a vacation or a trip somewhere. It can be something that you bring in your home and do in your house. It's pretty good, Megan, right? So I want to explore this topic more. So if you have thoughts, please be nice, but leave them in the comments. I would love to read it and think about it even more. What made you click on this video and got you to continue watching? And I almost immediately went to find a shirt that would remind me of the reasons to continue running even when I hate it. And So I love this shirt and I love wearing it. And so I went and created a sticker design and also a little notebook that you can purchase from my Redbubble site. And I have not used this before, so I don't know everything about it. I'm going to try to look into it and maybe purchase some to show you. And hopefully the quality is good. I had so much fun creating it. It was so pretty. I love the colors. So
Okay, I got my order from Redbubble and I wasn't completely happy with the quality of this little journal notebook. And so instead, at least for the price, because it ended up being like $20 because they do like a flat rate shipping of I think $7.99. Maybe it was $4.99, $3.99. But I'm pretty sure it was like ridiculous, like $7.99 because they want you to just keep buying more and adding more stuff to the cart. And I'm like, okay, this is maybe not the right platform for me as someone who's trying to help people declutter. But so I decided to take this down. I will show you though. I mean, it's just a regular notebook. It just has the I hate decluttering on the front, and then it has a pocket in the back. And I do like that it's a spiral notebook, but I decided to not do this because did I say it ended up being $20? So my thought also was that you can just buy the sticker and put it on a notebook if you want to have it on a notebook. I decided to actually create a journal notebook planner thing based on how I do my goal setting. So I'm trying to share that kind of in time for back to school stuff. So be on the lookout for that video. But the stickers are worth it because they don't charge shipping for those. So I am leaving these up for you to purchase if you would like. I'm not sure how long I'll leave them up though, because like I said, I'm not sure how much I enjoy this platform and having to maintain another thing. So I at least wanted to give you the opportunity if this just really resonated with you, but I may take it down after that. So I have this one in this color, and then this one is more of a white. And I don't know how well you can see. Yeah, there you go. I did another sticker. My favorite thing about this house is you. And it's because I feel a lot like when we're decluttering and decorating, we get really focused on our house and how we want things to be and how we want things to look and feel. And I just want that reminder sometimes that my favorite thing about this house is my husband, and for you, your family, the people you live with and share it with. So I just was kind of making that my mantra, and I was like, I want a sign in my house that says that and reminds me of it. And I put it by my door, and I do love it. Let me go get that actually to show you. My printer is only in black and white, and so that's why I wanted to make the sticker have a little bit of color so I could have one that was like that. Anyway, I'll link to the stickers. I think they are a few dollars each, no more than $5.
I still don't run every day, but I do run sometimes, and you don't have to declutter every day, but doing it occasionally can really help your own health. Just like running can be harmful, but it can also be very beneficial. And so you kind of have to know your own limits and when you want to push them and are willing to struggle through that, or when you just want to take it easy. So I love decluttering and I hate decluttering, as you can probably see. So it makes you kind of feel like you're insane because you are believing these two opposing statements. But running gives so many endorphins and builds muscle and gets your heart rate going and has so many benefits. But it also has you sweating and tired, but it can also energize you. So it's the same with decluttering. When you see those results, you can get really motivated and energized. But when you see how much you have left to go, it can be really draining and tiring, or just because it's a physical thing, it can be exhausting. So one last thing I wanted to share though is that before I started decluttering, I had no desire for it. I grew up where I wasn't having to make my bed every day, and I could just go climb a tree, and it was freeing and amazing. But then I heard someone at a tiny house workshop talk about how freeing and fun it is to live without all of this stuff, and gave some very tactical and practical ways to do it. And so I was like, okay, well, that's easy enough. Let me try it because I love fun and I love freedom. And so you can have fun and freedom if you're not decluttering, but you can have it also in different ways if you are. And in some ways, you clean less because you decluttered. In some ways, I clean more when I've decluttered because it's easier. There's just two sides to the argument all the time, it seems. So there is some joy and freedom in just not caring. But I already experienced that for years and years, and it was getting to the point where it was unmanageable for me, and I felt like I was being a burden on other people because I had my stuff at my brother's house, at my sister's house, at my mom's house, and I felt so bad that they were having to deal with it. So I kind of just want to say, do whatever you want. I don't know what to tell you. But if you want to declutter, I'm here to help you. It's just, I've seen these maximalist homes that are gorgeous and they have tons of beautiful artwork on the wall, but I'm like, that's not the same as being cluttered. In cluttered homes, I don't know, there might not even be stuff on the wall, but there's just stuff piled on different surfaces and you don't even notice the walls that much. Or it's just shelves that are packed full of stuff. And it isn't as like well thought out or intentional as a maximalist, at least from what I've seen. And so I like love maximalism. I'm like, am I a maximalist or am I a minimalist? I don't know, but I'm not a super cluttered. Like, to me, maximalist homes don't look cluttered. I guess some of them could be busy, or if it's a maximalist house of stuff I don't like, then yes, that would be more overwhelming and distracting. But a lot of times it's very beautiful and peaceful.
Okay, I found this picture to give an example of what I'm talking about. So there's this desk and there are so many pictures, but they kind of go together and are calming colors, at least to me. And I love it because it's like adventurous stuff and nature, outdoors, and beachy. But it's also, to me, not cluttered because it looks like you could sit at that desk and work on the laptop without having to move piles of stuff off of it, which is what I consider clutter. When you just have to, I mean, that's a part of it. When you have to move stuff before you can sit down or work on something that you're wanting to. I mean, to a degree, like, yes, we're going to have to move stuff around in our homes. But if it's all the time and everything, and especially something like an area where you're typically working, or if you're piling stuff on your laptop, I'm like, that's like an expensive device. So that's kind of the difference to me.
Basically, I feel like I should just end this by saying, I don't know. I need to run get that too. Goodness gracious. I got it right. What does she say? I read this a while ago, so let me remember what all it said. Oh my goodness, what am I talking about? Do I even know? Ugh. Na-na.